People think I won the lottery. They see my husband, Kai, the ruthless CEO of K Corp, the alpha who makes grown men cry in boardrooms, and they think, wow, Ren is so lucky. Lucky, lucky. They don't know the truth. To the world, Kai is an ice sculpture. To me, he is a menace, a clingy, possessive, absolutely shameless menace. I looked at the clock, 2:00 p.m. He's been in a meeting for 4 hours. He hasn't texted me once. Fine, I huffed, crossing my arms. If he wants to be cold, I can be hot. I grabbed his oversized white dress shirt, the one that smells like his expensive cologne and danger, and put it on. It swallowed my small frame, barely covering my thighs. I snapped a selfie in the mirror, messy hair, sleepy eyes, and just enough skin to be trouble. Caption: the bed is cold without you, come warm it up. Send. I smirked, he's in a merger meeting, he won't see this for hours, I just wanted to annoy him. 20 minutes later, I was in the kitchen, happily eating a sandwich, humming a tune. I had completely forgotten about the photo. Suddenly, the front door didn't just open, it flew open. Bang! I jumped, nearly choking on my bread. Thief, I squeaked, grabbing a spatula as a weapon. But it wasn't a thief. It was Kai. And he looked unhinged. His tie was pulled loose, his top button was undone, and his chest was heaving like he had sprinted from the car. But the scariest part, his eyes. They weren't the cold, gray eyes the public saw, they were pitch black, alpha eyes. Ren, he growled, the sound vibrated through the floorboards. Kai, I stammered, hiding the spatula behind my back. You, aren't you supposed to be acquiring a company right now? He didn't answer, he just walked toward me, stalked me actually, like a predator who just spotted a very stupid, very fluffy bunny. You sent a distress signal, he said, his voice dangerously low. Distress, I laughed nervously, backing up until my hips hit the kitchen counter. No, no, that was a joke, a prank. Look, I'm eating a sandwich, I'm fine. He stopped inches from me, he smelled like rain and ozone, his scent spiking with arousal. You said the bed was cold, he whispered, placing his hands on the counter on either side of me, trapping me, so I canceled the meeting. My eyes widened. You canceled $1 billion meeting for a selfie. I'd burn the whole company down for you, Ren. My face felt like it was on fire. This is the problem, he takes everything so seriously. You're crazy, I mumbled, trying to look away, but he grabbed my chin gently. And you, Kai smirked, his cold mask completely gone, replaced by that wicked, naughty grin only I ever saw, are wearing my shirt, and nothing else. I am wearing boxers, I protested, trying to push his chest. It was like pushing a brick wall. Doesn't matter, Kai murmured, lifting me up onto the counter effortlessly. You wanted my attention, Ren, you have it, all of it. I gulped. Kai, wait, I have, laundry to do. The laundry can wait, he said, burying his face in my neck, making me shiver. My bratty Omega needs to be punished for teasing me at work. I'm not a brat, I argued weakly, my hands automatically finding their way into his hair. You are, he bit lightly at my scent gland, sending a jolt of electricity down my spine. And you're going to regret making me leave that meeting. I already regret it, I wailed. Too late, he chuckled against my skin. God, I hate him. Okay, maybe I love him a little bit, but mostly I just need a wheelchair for tomorrow. The room was dimly lit, the air heavy with a silence that screamed louder than words. I was pressed against the headboard, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. Kai loomed over me, his shadow swallowing mine. He held my gaze, his eyes dark, swirling with a hunger that had nothing to do with food. Tell me, Ren, he whispered, his voice rough like velvet over gravel. Do you want to run, or do you want to burn? My face heated up, I couldn't look away. I reached out, my trembling fingers brushing the lapel of his suit. Kai smirked, he slowly undid his tie, the silk sliding through his fingers with a soft hiss. That sound, the fabric falling away, sent a shiver straight down my spine. He didn't give me time to think. He leaned in, his presence wrapping around me like a storm. Kai, I gasped, my hands clutching his shoulders as he closed the distance between us. He buried his face in the crook of my neck, his hot breath making my skin tingle. Look at you, he murmured against my pulse, trembling like a leaf. You're holding onto me so tight. Kai, please, I whispered, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of his affection. I want to keep you locked in this moment forever, he growled, his lips grazing my jawline. Just us, no world outside, nowhere to hide. My mind was melting, the intensity was too much. Wait, Kai, wait, I can't breathe. He didn't pull back, instead he pulled me closer until there was no air left between us. No, he said firmly, we are just getting started, baby, you need to understand how much I need you. He reached for the lamp and clicked it off, plunging us into darkness where only touch existed. I cleared my entire schedule, he whispered in the dark, a wicked promise in his tone. We have the whole night, and I plan to steal every single breath you have. Are you ready? I stared into the shadows, wide-eyed. Before I could answer, he captured my lips in a kiss that felt like a seal swallowing my protests. Hours later, the storm had passed, leaving only a quiet exhaustion. My body felt heavy, sinking into the mattress. Don't you, I whispered, trying to find my voice in the dark, don't you ever get enough? Kai didn't answer with words. He simply tightened his arms around me, pulling me flush against his chest. Does this answer your question? He murmured, kissing the top of my head. I could spend 1,000 lifetimes with you, Ren, and I'd still be starving for more. Sunlight hit my face like a rude awakening. I tried to sit up, but my limbs felt like they were made of lead. I felt like I had run a marathon in my sleep. I turned my head. Kai was sitting on the edge of the bed, buttoning his fresh white shirt, looking energetic, sharp, and annoyingly perfect. I grabbed a pillow and threw it weakly at his head. You monster, I rasped, my voice croaky. Kai caught the pillow with one hand, not even looking. He turned to me, that arrogant, satisfied smirk back in place. Good morning to you too, wifey. Don't talk to me, I grumbled, pulling the blanket over my head to hide my messy hair. I can't move, I hate you. Kai chuckled, a low, rumbling sound that vibrated in the room. He leaned back over the bed, hovering over my blanket fortress. You didn't seem to hate me when you were clinging to me at 3 a.m., he teased softly. I peeked out, glaring at him with one eye. I was tired, you manipulated me with your alpha charm. Kai leaned down and kissed my nose, and I'll do it again tonight. No, I shouted, muffled by the duvet. Tonight I am sleeping in the guest room with the door locked. Kai's eyes danced with amusement. Try it, I have the master key and I have a lot of energy left. I groaned and hid my face deeper into the pillow. I'm never going to win against this man. I sat on the sofa, watching the performance of the century. My mother was beaming at Kai like he was an angel sent from above. Kai sat there, posture perfect, pouring tea for my dad with a gentle, respectful smile. Oh, Kai Beta, Mom gushed. You are such a gem, you take care of everyone so well, I don't know what good deeds our family did to get a son-in-law like you. Then she turned her laser eyes to me. And look at you, Ren, sitting like a potato, learn something from your husband, he is so responsible and you can't even fold a blanket properly. I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. Responsible? Mom, this man is a possessive demon in a suit. My brother Arian leaned over and whispered in my ear. Bro, is he for real? He looks so innocent. Does he even know how to be romantic? I bet he asks for permission before holding your hand. I choked on my tea. If only you knew, Arian. If only you knew the chaos he unleashes when the door is closed. So, Mom asked, her voice dropping to that hopeful whisper. When are we hearing some good news? I want to see my Ren settled down completely. My face went instant tomato red. Mom. Kai didn't even flinch. He placed a hand on my knee, gentle, supportive, but his grip was firm. Not yet, Ma. Ren's happiness is my priority right now. I want to cherish him just for myself a little longer. I'm not ready to share his attention. Mom looked like she was about to cry tears of joy. See, so loving, such a devoted husband. I glared at Kai. Devoted? You literally told me yesterday you wanted to lock me in the bedroom so I could never leave your sight. I was annoyed. Everyone was ignoring me to praise Kai. So I grabbed the bowl of strawberries and started aggressively stuffing them into my mouth to distract myself. Mom was busy showing Dad something on her phone. Arian was texting. Kai shifted closer to me. His hand slid from my knee to my lower back, his thumb tracing circles on my spine hidden by his jacket. I froze. He leaned in, pretending to fix my collar. You look so cute when you're angry, he whispered, his voice dropping an octave, dark and husky. And you look even cuter when you're eating. I chewed faster, ignoring him. Slow down, baby, he murmured right into my ear, his breath hot against my skin. Save some of that hunger. Later, I'm going to need all your energy. I paused, the strawberry halfway to my mouth. You enjoy that fruit, he continued, his voice dripping with obsession. But tonight, I'm going to enjoy you. I plan to devour every inch of your patience until you're begging me to stop. My brain short-circuited. I looked down at his hand on my waist, then back at his face. He was smirking, that secret, dangerous smirk that promised trouble. My face went from red to purple. I started coughing violently. Ren, Mom scolded, eat slowly, look at you making a mess, you are so clumsy. Kai immediately grabbed a napkin and wiped my lips, looking like the concerned husband. Careful, love, you're so sensitive, are you okay? I slapped his hand away, glaring at him. You manipulator. Ma, I shouted, He just what, Mom snapped. He is helping you, say thank you. I looked at Arian for help. Arian was looking at my red face, then at the possessive way Kai was looking at me. He smirked and winked at me. Traitor, he knows. I was not sleeping in the same room as that tease. I'm sleeping in Arian's room tonight, I announced after dinner. We have brother stuff to discuss, video games. I stomped off to Arian's room and crashed on his bed, burying my face in the pillow. I am safe here, no whispers, no intense stares. I fell asleep quickly, exhausted from the mental gymnastics. I woke up feeling warm, very warm, and the bed felt softer than Arian's. Wait. I opened my eyes. This wasn't Arian's room. This was the guest suite, and I was wrapped tightly in Kai's arms, my head resting on his chest, his scent surrounding me completely. How? I whispered, confused. Good morning, Kai rumbled, his voice thick with sleep but satisfied. How did I get here? I was in Arian's room. Kai chuckled, tracing the line of my jaw. Your brother is a businessman, Ren. I offered him the new limited edition gaming console and he gave me the spare key. He sold me, I shrieked. He made a trade, Kai corrected, flipping me over so he hovered above me, his eyes locking onto mine. And now that I have you back where you belong. He leaned down and kissed my neck, making me shiver. We have some unfinished business. You ran away from me last night, Ren. Now you have to make up for it. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Mom had completely forgotten about the strawberry comment from yesterday. My dignity was safe. I looked at Kai, who was buttoning his cuffs with that calm, elegant grace. I wanted to curse him, I wanted to kick him, but, God, he looked handsome. He fulfills every wish I have, I admitted to myself, feeling my cheeks heat up, even the ones I'm too shy to say out loud. It made me think back to how this started, an arranged marriage. I was so nervous, but the moment I saw Kai at the first meeting, a yes slipped out of my mouth before my dad even asked. He was perfect, a walking green flag. He opened doors, he listened to my nonsense, he brought me snacks. I thought I had married a gentle saint. Then came the wedding night. I was exhausted. Kai, being the gentleman, cleared all the rose petals off the bed so I could sleep comfortably. I, being a fool, decided to tease him. I poked his chest and giggled. You're so gentle, Kai. Do you even have the energy to handle a husband, or are you just a softie? Big mistake. The air in the room changed instantly. The saint vanished. He pinned me down, his eyes dark and hungry. Energy, he had whispered, his voice dropping to a growl. Let's see if you have the stamina to survive my affection. He didn't let me sleep that night. I spent the next morning sore, exhausted, and realizing that my husband wasn't a saint, he was a storm. Sweetie. Kai's voice snapped me back to reality. He was leaning over me, smiling innocently. Where are you lost, thinking about that night again? Shameless, I muttered, hiding my burning face in my hands. Leaving my parents' house is always a drama. Take care of yourself, Mom wailed, wiping tears. Dad was patting her back, looking helpless. I started crying too. Ma, I don't want to go. Kai sighed, wrapping a strong arm around my waist, pulling me firmly into his chest. He'll visit next week, Ma, I promise. He ushered me into the car, handing me a tissue. By the time we reached the city, he had distracted me with a promise of coffee and a walk in the park. The park was beautiful. We walked hand in hand, the autumn breeze blowing through my hair. I felt safe. Suddenly, a man rushing past slammed into me. Bump. His hand didn't just brush me, it lingered on my lower back, a grip that was too tight, too personal before he pushed off. Watch it, the man grunted, not even apologizing. I stumbled, but Kai caught me instantly. I'm okay, I said quickly, seeing Kai's jaw clench tight. He just bumped into me, it was an accident. Kai didn't say a word, his eyes were tracking the man like a predator tracking prey. A cold, terrifying shadow passed over his face, but he blinked it away instantly. He turned to me, pecking my lips softly. Baby, look, there's that bakery you like. Go inside and order the strawberry cake. I forgot my wallet in the car. I'll be right back. Okay, don't take too long, I chirped, running toward the cake shop, completely oblivious to the storm brewing behind me. Seen a quiet alleyway behind the park. The man who bumped into Ren was lighting a cigarette, laughing to himself. Suddenly, a heavy shadow fell over him. Thud. The man gasped as he was shoved hard against the brick wall. He looked up to see a demon in a tailored suit. Kai stood over him, his hands in his pockets, his face stone cold. You have filthy habits, Kai said calmly. You touch something that doesn't belong to you. I didn't, the man stammered, trembling. Kai stepped closer, his presence suffocating. He grabbed the man's wrist, the same hand that had touched Ren, and squeezed. He squeezed until the man's face twisted in agony. Ugh. He is mine, Kai whispered, leaning down, his eyes void of mercy. Every inch of him. If you ever look at him again, I won't just hurt your hand. I'll make sure you never see anything again. Kai released the man, who collapsed to the ground, sobbing in fear. Disappear, Kai ordered, wiping his hand with a handkerchief as if he had touched dirt. Before I change my mind. I was just taking the first bite of my cake when the door chimed. Kai walked in. He looked immaculate, not a hair out of place, breathing steady. He was holding a massive bouquet of red roses. For you, he said, handing them to me with a gentle smile. Kai, I beamed, burying my face in the flowers. You went to get flowers, that's why you took so long. Something like that, he smiled, sitting next to me. I hugged him tight. You're the best. Kai wrapped his arms around me, burying his face in my neck, inhaling my scent deeply. His grip was tighter than usual. You are mine, Ren, he whispered, his voice possessive and heavy with emotion. Only mine. You have no idea what I would do to keep you safe. I know, I giggled, feeding him a piece of cake, thinking he was just being romantic. I didn't see the darkness in his eyes, I only saw the love, and honestly, that was enough for me. I was feeling generous. Maybe it was the strawberry cake, or maybe it was the massive bouquet of roses sitting on our dining table, but I decided to be a model husband today. I'll surprise him with lunch, I told myself, packing a bento box. He works too hard, he needs my support. I dressed up, nothing too fancy, just a soft beige sweater and trousers. I looked presentable. Walking into K-Corp Tower was intimidating. The lobby was silent, cold, and smelled like intimidation. People in sharp suits walked fast, looking stressed. I approached the reception desk. Excuse me, I smiled. I'm here to see Kai, Mr. Valcor. The receptionist looked at me over her glasses. Do you have an appointment? Mr. Valcor is currently tearing the marketing team apart. I wouldn't go up there if I were you. I gulped, tearing them apart. I'm his husband, I whispered. The receptionist's jaw dropped. She immediately pressed a button. Code red, I mean code gold. Mr. Valcor's spouse is heading up. Clear the elevators. The elevator ride was awkward. People were staring at me like I was a rare species. When I reached the top floor, I heard him before I saw him. Unacceptable, Kai's voice boomed through the heavy oak doors. I asked for perfection, not excuses. Get out. A group of executives ran out of the office, looking like they had seen a ghost. I stood there holding the lunch box, suddenly regretting my life choices. Maybe I should just leave the food with the secretary. But the door opened and Kai stood there. He looked formidable. His tie was loose, his hair slightly messy, and his eyes were stormy. Then he saw me. The transformation was instant. The storm in his eyes vanished, replaced by shock and then that intense, focused warmth. Ren. Hi, I squeaked, holding up the box. I brought lunch. Kai didn't say a word. He walked over, grabbed my wrist gently, and pulled me into his office, shutting the door firmly behind us. Click, he locked it. You came to see me, he murmured, backing me up until I was pressed against the massive glass window that overlooked the entire city. I thought you might be hungry, I stammered, my heart racing. I made pasta. I am hungry, Kai said, stepping closer, invading my personal space until I was surrounded by his scent, but not for food. He placed his hands on the glass on either side of my head. We were so high up, the city looked like ants below us. Kai, people can see, I panicked, trying to shield myself. Kai chuckled, a low rumble in his chest. Relax, baby, it's one-way glass, we can see them, but they can't see us. To them, this is just a mirror. He leaned down, his lips brushing my ear. They have no idea that their boss has his husband right here, all to himself. Kai, stop, I whispered, though my hands were already clutching his shirt. You're at work, you're the CEO. I'm the boss, he corrected, lifting me up and sitting me on his mahogany desk, pushing aside stacks of million-dollar contracts like they were just paper. I make the rules. He stood between my legs, his hands resting possessively on my waist. You know, he whispered, I was having a terrible day. I wanted to fire everyone, but now. He buried his face in the crook of my neck, inhaling deeply, calming himself with my presence. Now I just want to keep you here. But the meeting, I gasped as he pulled me closer. Cancelled, he mumbled against my skin. I'm in a very important private conference. Kai, behave, I protested weakly. I am behaving, Kai growled softly, his lips grazing my sensitive spot. I'm just making sure you know who you belong to. I want you to walk out of here smelling like me. I want everyone to know you are taken. I literally melted against him. Fine, I breathed out, but lock the door properly. It's already bolted, Ren, and the glass is soundproof. No one can hear a thing. An hour later, I walked out of the office. My hair was messy, my face was flushed pink, and my collar was buttoned all the way up to hide the evidence of his affection. Kai walked beside me looking smug, refreshed, and happier than he had been in years. He was even whistling. The secretary stared, the executive stared. Good afternoon, Kai said cheerfully to a terrified employee. Give the marketing team a bonus, I'm in a good mood. The employee looked at me, then at my flushed face and nodded frantically. Yes, sir, thank you, Mr. Wren. I buried my face in my hands as we walked to the elevator. I am never visiting you at work again, I hissed. Kai just laughed and kissed my temple. See you tomorrow for lunch, wifey. I'm going to be late on my first week. I was hopping around the bedroom on one leg, trying to pull on my trousers while brushing my teeth at the same time. Kai was sitting on the edge of the bed, sipping his coffee, looking like a model in his three-piece suit. He was completely unbothered. Why didn't you wake me up? I mumbled through the toothbrush, finally getting my foot through the pant leg. You've been awake since 6 a.m. Kai smirked, setting his cup down. He walked over, grabbed my waist to steady me, and wiped a speck of toothpaste from my lip with his thumb. I tried, he lied smoothly, but you were sleeping on your stomach, the blanket had slipped off, and the view was just too captivating. My face heated up. You are impossible. I have to go teach history. Stop looking at me like I'm your breakfast. You are my breakfast, he whispered, his hand lingering on my lower back as I ran out the door. Get in the car, teacher, I'll drive you. It had been a year, a crazy year. I finished my degree, survived Kai, nightly affection, and finally landed a job as a history teacher. Today, I was treating my colleagues to snacks to celebrate my first week. I was laughing at a joke Mr. Evans, the math teacher, made. He was nice, maybe a little too nice. He leaned in close, his hand brushing my shoulder. So Ren, are you free this weekend? Suddenly, the temperature in the staff room dropped to 0. I looked up. Kai was standing at the door. He wasn't smiling. His eyes were locked on Mr. Evans' hand on my shoulder like a laser. Mr. Evans froze. Ooh, Mr. Valcor. Kai walked in, his presence swallowing the room. He gently but firmly pulled me away from Mr. Evans, wrapping an arm around my waist, staking his claim for everyone to see. Ready to go, love? Kai asked me, but his eyes were glaring at the poor math teacher. Or are you busy making plans I don't know about? In the car, the silence was loud. You scared him, I giggled, poking Kai's arm. He was just being friendly. He was flirting, Kai gripped the steering wheel tighter. I don't like him, stay away from him. Are you jealous? I teased, leaning closer. The great CEO Kai Valcor is jealous of a math teacher. Kai slowed the car down and turned to me. His eyes were dark and serious. Yes, he admitted without hesitation. I am jealous. You are mine, Ren. I don't share. Not your attention, not your smiles, and definitely not your time. If he gets too close again, I'll have him transferred to a school in Antarctica. I gulped. Okay, note to self, keep distance from Mr. Evans. We pulled up to the mansion. It was unusually bright. Why are all the lights on? I asked. You forgot, didn't you? Kai sighed, shaking his head with a smile. We walked in. Surprise. Confetti exploded in my face. My parents, Kai's parents, Arian, everyone was there. It was a party celebrating my first job. Oh God, I whispered, I totally forgot. Kai's mom rushed forward and hugged me. Congratulations, Beta, finally a teacher in the family. Then came the bomb. She held my face, looking hopeful. Now that studies are done and the job is started, when are we getting the real gift? I blinked. Real gift. Grandkids, she cheered. I want little feet running around, a whole cricket team. My face turned so red I felt dizzy. Mom. My own mother jumped in. Let him breathe, he just started working, but yes, 1 or 2 would be nice. 1 or 2, Kai's dad laughed. Kai has the resources for 10. I looked at Kai for help. He was just standing there, grinning, enjoying my misery. We are working on it, Ma, Kai said shamelessly, winking at me. We practice very diligently, every single night. Kai, I shrieked, hiding my face in his chest while the parents laughed. I went upstairs to change into the outfit Kai had laid out for me, a navy blue suit that matched his perfectly. We looked like a power couple. When I came back down, Arian, my brother, was cornering Kai near the drinks. Arian was grinning mischievously. So, brother-in-law, I heard you get jealous easily. Should I tell Ren about your old secretary? It was a joke, a bad one. Kai didn't flinch. He took a sip of his drink and leaned down to Arian's level. You could do that. Kai whispered calmly. But then I would have to tell your father about that study trip to Goa, which was actually a trip with your girlfriend, Ria, and I might accidentally forward the hotel bill to him. Arian's face went pale, the color drained from his cheeks. You know about Ria. I know everything, Kai smirked. Now run along before I accidentally drop my phone. Arian didn't wait, he bolted to the other side of the room. I walked up to Kai. What did you say to him? He looks terrified. Kai wrapped his arm around my waist, pulling me flush against him. Just some brotherly bonding. Now, about that cricket team my mother wants. Don't even think about it, I laughed, trying to run, but he held me tight. Too late, he whispered against my ear. Party ends in 2 hours, be ready. The party was finally over, the last guest had left. I didn't even have the energy to walk upstairs. I collapsed onto the living room sofa, face down, groaning into the cushions. I am dead, my legs are broken. I heard Kai moving around, cleaning up the glasses, locking the doors. The sounds were comforting. A moment later, the sofa dipped. Kai sat near my feet. Without a word, his large, warm hands wrapped around my calves. He started massaging them, his thumbs working out the knots with practiced ease. That feels good, I mumbled, eyes closed. But then his hands moved higher, past my knees, past my thighs. Suddenly, I felt his fingers brush the sensitive skin of my waist, his grip tightening. I yelped and scrambled up, jumping off the sofa. What are you doing? Kai sat there looking relaxed, a dangerous, playful glint in his eyes. We have a promise to keep, Ren. Remember what my mother said? She wants a cricket team. We should start planning. You impossible man, I shouted, blushing furiously. I'm tired, not tonight. I pushed his chest and turned to run toward the stairs. Ren, Kai warned, his voice dropping an octave. Don't run, you know I love a chase. I didn't listen, I sprinted, but I was clumsy. My sock slipped on the polished floor. Ugh. I braced for the impact, but it never came. Strong arms wrapped around my waist, pulling me flush against a hard chest. Got you, Kai whispered against my ear. But then it hit me. It wasn't just a stumble. A wave of scorching heat exploded inside my body. My knees went weak. My scent, sweet vanilla and jasmine, burst out, flooding the hallway. The fever, it had arrived early. I gasped, clutching Kai's shirt, my vision blurring. Kai, something's wrong, it's so hot. Kai froze, his nostrils flared, his pupils dilated until his eyes were almost entirely black. The sudden sweetness of my scent was driving him instantly wild. Ren, he growled, his voice sounding like gravel. Your cycle, it's starting. I can't stand, I whimpered, my body trembling uncontrollably. I know, he said, scooping me up into his arms effortlessly, holding me close. I've got you. He didn't take me to the guest room. He kicked open the door to our master bedroom and laid me on the bed. The room was instantly filled with his presence, dark chocolate, rain, and pure dominance. It was suffocating in the best way possible. He hovered over me, inhaling my scent from my neck, grounding me. You smell so sweet, he whispered into my ear, his hot breath making me shiver. It's intoxicating. I want to keep you right here just for me. My skin felt like it was on fire. I needed him close. I needed his cold touch to soothe the burning. Kai, please. He kissed me deep, bruising, possessive. It wasn't gentle, it was a claim. Are you sure? He asked, his voice strained as he looked into my eyes, seeking permission. Yes, please, I need you, I sobbed, the emotions and the fever mixing together. Husband, please. That word snapped his last thread of control. Say it again, he demanded, leaning closer. Husband, please, hold me. He didn't hold back, he pulled me against him, eliminating every inch of space between us. I arched my back, clinging to him as the storm took over. I'm here, he gritted out, moving with a rhythm that was primal and relentless. No distance this time, Ren, no barriers, just us. He buried his face in my neck, leaving a mark that would last for weeks. I'm going to claim you. I'm going to make sure you know exactly who you belong to. You are going to carry my scent for days. And he did. Every touch pushed me deeper into the mattress. The fever made everything intense. The affection was blinding. When he finally held me still, locking us together in a tight embrace, I passed out from the sheer intensity of the emotions crashing over me. But it wasn't over. I lost track of time. Was it day, was it night? I remember waking up briefly. Kai was feeding me soup with his own hands, blowing on the spoon gently. He looked at me with so much devotion. But the moment I finished eating, the fever would spike again. Kai, I would whisper, reaching for him. And Kai would be there instantly. We didn't leave the room. The world outside ceased to exist. No phones, no work, just us, the fever, and this consuming dark romance. He took care of my every need, never leaving my side for a second. Sunlight hit my eyes. I blinked, feeling heavy. My body felt like it had been through a marathon, but also deeply satisfied. I looked down, my arms, my shoulders, I was covered in marks, red and purple traces of his affection claiming every inch of skin. I was curled up against a warm, hard chest. Kai's arms were wrapped around me protectively, holding me like I was precious glass that might break if he let go. Memories of the last week flooded back, me begging him not to leave, me clinging to him. I buried my face in his chest, mortified. Oh God, I was so clingy. Kai stirred, he tightened his hold, kissing the top of my head. Good morning, baby. His voice was raspy, deep with sleep. I peeked up at him. He looked tired but incredibly happy. Morning, I whispered. He brushed the hair off my forehead. How are you feeling? Do you need anything? I tried to move my legs and winced. I think I need to stay in bed for another year. Kai chuckled softly, pulling the duvet over us. Thought so, stay there, I'll bring you breakfast. You did good, Ren, you were perfect. It took me 2 days to recover from our 7-day storm. My body was tired, but I felt different, glowing almost. I returned to school, determined to be a professional teacher. Okay, class, I said, holding up a textbook. Today we will discuss the Industrial Revolution. The room started spinning. The voices of the students sounded like they were underwater. Sir, are you okay? That was the last thing I heard before the floor rushed up to meet me. Darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up to the smell of antiseptic and the sound of beeping machines. I blinked, white ceiling, hospital. He's awake. Suddenly my vision was filled with faces. Mom, Dad, Kai's parents, Arian, and Kai. Kai was sitting right next to my bed, gripping my hand so tight my fingers were numb. He looked terrified. What happened? I whispered. Is something wrong? The doctor stepped forward, smiling gently. Far from it, Mr. Valcor, you fainted due to exhaustion and hormonal changes. Congratulations, you are expecting. I froze, expecting. Twins, the doctor added. The room exploded. Twins, my mother screamed. My cricket team is starting. Kai didn't say a word, he just buried his face in my palm and kissed it, his shoulders shaking slightly. Twins, he whispered against my skin, his voice thick with emotion. We did it, Ren. Ren's internal monologue. Life changed overnight. The entire family decided to move into our mansion for the final 3 months. It was a full house. But the biggest change was Kai. He became paranoid. Overprotective was an understatement. If I stood up to get water, Kai would appear out of nowhere. Sit down, I'll get it. If I sneezed, he called the doctor. Kai, I complained one evening, rubbing my bump. I'm expecting, not broken, let me walk. No, he said firmly, massaging my swollen ankles. You are carrying my legacy, you are carrying my world, you don't lift a finger. But he was also sweet. At 2 a.m. when the cravings hit, I'd nudge him. Kai, I want gulab jamun and spicy chips. He never complained. He'd go downstairs in his silk pajamas and bring me sweets, feeding me by hand while I leaned against his chest. Is the back pain bad? He'd ask softly, rubbing my lower back for hours until I fell asleep. I felt like a prince. The due date was close, the house was buzzing with excitement. I was walking from the kitchen to the living room. I didn't see the small puddle of water near the vase where the maid had just watered the plants. Slip. My foot lost traction. Ugh. I tried to grab the wall, but gravity was faster. I landed hard on my side. A sharp tearing pain shot through my stomach. Kai, I screamed. It was a scream of pure terror. Kai was there in seconds. He saw me on the floor, clutching my stomach, the pain evident on my face. Ren, his face went pale white. He scooped me up, not caring about anything else. Hospital now, he roared at the driver. In the car, he held my hand, his other hand on my cheek. Look at me, Ren, breathe, stay with me, don't close your eyes. It hurts, Kai, the bobbies, I sobbed, terrified. They are fine, you are fine, I won't let anything happen, he promised, but I could hear the tremor in his voice. The hospital was a blur of lights and shouting. We need to operate immediately, the doctor yelled. They wheeled me toward the operation theater. Kai held my hand until the very last second, until the nurses forced him to let go at the double doors. I'll be right here, he shouted as the doors swung shut. Inside, the anesthesia took over, and I drifted away. Third-person POV, outside the OT. Kai stood in the hallway staring at the closed doors. His suit was stained. His hands were shaking uncontrollably. The mighty CEO, the man who feared nothing, looked broken. Ren's mother walked up to him, tears in her eyes. Kai turned to her, and for the first time in his life, he crumbled. He hugged his mother-in-law, burying his face in her shoulder, and let out a sob. "I can't lose him, Ma," Kai choked out. "I can't live without him." "He is strong, Kai," she whispered, patting his back. "He will come back to us." I woke up to the sound of a steady beep. My throat was dry, my stomach felt empty but sore. "Ren." Kai was there instantly. He looked like he hadn't slept in years. "The Bobbies," I rasped. "They are okay," Kai smiled, tears glistening in his eyes. "A boy and a girl. They are a bit small, so they are in the nursery for observation, but they are strong just like their papa." I let out a sob of relief. Kai hugged me gently, careful of my stitches. "You scared me," he whispered into my hair. "Don't ever do that again." For the next 3 days, we lived in the hospital. I visited the Bobbies. They were so tiny, sleeping peacefully. Kai stood beside me, looking at them with awe. "I made those," he whispered proudly. "We made those," I corrected, leaning on him. By the 5th day, the doctors cleared us. The Bobbies were healthy enough to come home. When the car pulled up to the mansion, it looked like a festival. There were lights, flowers, and a band playing music. Mom did the traditional welcome at the door. Arian popped confetti. Kai carried the Bobbies in 2 carriers, and I walked beside him, holding his arm. "Welcome home," Kai whispered, kissing my temple. I looked at my chaotic, loud, loving family, and then at my husband, the man who went from a cold CEO to a crying mess for me. "It's good to be home," I smiled. And finally, the storm had turned into a lifetime of sunshine. 3 years, it had been 3 years since the twins arrived, and my peaceful life was officially over. Our dining table was a battlefield. "No, mine," screamed Zara, our little daughter. She was 3, but she had the attitude of a queen who owned the entire country. She stood on her chair, hands on her hips. "Give it," shouted Arav, our son. He was mischievous, messy, but secretly a mama's boy. They were fighting over a gaming console. "I want it," Zara lisped in her cute toddler voice. "Papa said I can buy everything. I want this." "No," Arav pulled it back. "Papa gave it to me." I sighed, rubbing my temples. Enough. I snatched the console from both of them. Arav immediately sat down and pouted, looking at me with big puppy eyes. "So we papa, see, he listens." "But Zara, oh no," she glared at me. Then she slid off the chair, ran to the head of the table, and climbed onto Kai's lap. "Dada," she wailed, fake tears streaming down her face. "Papa is being mean, he took my game." Ren's internal monologue. Kai, the ruthless CEO, melted instantly. He wiped Zara's face with his expensive silk napkin. "Did he?" Kai asked, glaring playfully at me. "Don't worry, princess, I'll buy you a new one, a gold one." "Kai," I slammed my hand on the table. "You are spoiling her," I scolded, pointing a spoon at him. "Look at her attitude. She thinks she owns the state. She spends money like she's a billionaire already. Yesterday, she ordered $50 online. Who pays for that?" Kai shrugged, kissing Zara's cheek. "I do. She's a Valcor. She should have the best." "She is a brat," I huffed. "And you are the enabler. That's it. I'm done. I'm going out with my friends. You handle them." I turned around to grab my bag, fuming. I was checking my hair in the hallway mirror when I felt 2 strong arms wrap around my waist from behind. Kai pulled me back against his chest, burying his face in the crook of my neck. "Leaving so soon?" he whispered, his voice dropping to that low, magnetic tone that always made my knees weak. "I'm angry at you," I tried to sound firm, but my voice wavered as he kissed the sensitive spot behind my ear. "You look adorable when you're angry," he murmured, his hands resting possessively on my waist. "Are you sure you want to go? We could send the kids to the nanny and go upstairs for a private meeting." I blushed, slapping his hand away gently. "Control yourself, husband. You have babysitting duty today." Kai chuckled, turning me around and stealing a deep, lingering kiss that left me breathless. "Go," he smirked, "but come back early. I'll be waiting to collect my reward for handling the monsters." As soon as Ren left, chaos erupted. Kai looked at the twins looked at Kai. "Okay," Kai rolled up his sleeves. "Who wants to play?" "Me," they screamed. Kai became the tickle monster. He chased them around the living room. He caught Zara and nuzzled her chubby cheek playfully. "Got you, little princess." "Ah, dada, no tickle," she giggled, hitting his face with her tiny hands. Then Orav jumped on Kai's back. Attack. For 2 hours, the great alpha was used as a human jungle gym. He teased them, stealing their toys so they would chase him, and sometimes he just lay on the floor letting them crawl over him. But by 4 p.m., Kai was exhausted. Okay, timeout, Kai panted, lying on the rug. Dado is tired. No tired, Zara commanded, poking his eye. Play. Kai groaned. Ren, come back, I surrender. Negotiating with tiny tyrants is harder than running a company. Ren's internal monologue. I came home around 7 p.m. The house was suspiciously quiet. Kai, kids. I walked into the living room and stopped. My heart melted. Kai was asleep on the large rug. Arav was curled up on Kai's stomach, fast asleep with his thumb in his mouth. Zara was sleeping tucked under Kai's arm, clutching his shirt. The big bad CEO and his two little cubs. I walked over quietly and sat beside them, brushing the hair off Kai's forehead. He stirred, opening one sleepy eye. You're back, he whispered, smiling lazily. I'm back, I smiled, leaning down to kiss him softly. Did they survive? Barely, Kai chuckled. Your daughter is a dictator. She gets it from you, I whispered. Kai pulled me down so I was lying next to them. I love you, Ren, he said, his voice full of sincerity. Thank you for this life, thank you for them. I love you too, my obsessed husband, I replied, resting my head on his shoulder. From a forced arranged marriage to a chaotic, loud, love-filled home, I looked at my family, my stubborn girl, my sweet boy, and my crazy husband. I wouldn't trade this madness for anything in the world. The end.